So, ladies, advertising. When you see this sign, what is this advertising?
McDonald's.
McDonald's. What?
Cheap.
Gross.
Cheap? Cheap. What else?
Gross.
Gross. Okay. What else comes to mind? Ginger, you can chime in as well.
Fast.
Fast.
Oh.
Cheap. Gross.
Easy.
Easy. Okay.
I just think of the jingle.
Common. Like there, you can pretty much go to any town in America and you're gonna find one, right? It's kind of common.
You can go to any town in America and find 5 McDonald's.
Find 5 McDonald's. So yes, you can find one on every. I mean, if you go to the DFW area, there's probably one like this on every street corner. Okay, so if you went in to McDonald's, is anyone going to go in and ask them for steak and a glass of wine? None of you are going to because you're not old enough. But say you are. Say you're old enough. Would you go into McDonald's and say, hey, I would like to order a steak and a nice glass of Merlot? Anyone going to do that?
Maybe as a joke?
As a joke. Okay, so why? Why wouldn't you go in and assume? I mean, aren't you kind of like judging McDonald's and like going, isn't that placing a judgment on them that they wouldn't provide steak and wine? Or have they advertised themselves that that's not what they are and it's not what they do? Correct? It's advertising. Okay, so if you saw this sign, what would you think? What comes to mind when you
Steaks.
see this? Steaks. Outback. Slow, like it's going to take time, right? You can't just go and fine dining.
You know it's real food.
Real food, okay? It's not, you don't wonder how long it was since it's been processed. It's not, it's real. Little more expensive, kind of more upscale, a little more elegant. You're not going to walk in your beach clothes and your flip-flops. There's a higher expectation.
Avery's like, well, I do that. So.
Some people do. Sorry. Okay, so would anyone expect that there's going to be a drive-up 99-cent window at Outback? I mean, do you ever circle the building like, where's the drive-through? I can't believe they don't have a 99-cent steak and wine menu at Outback. Like, nobody thinks that. So again, are you being judgmental towards Outback to assume that they don't have a drive-up or a 99-cent menu, or do they not advertise that way?
They don't advertise that.
They don't advertise that way. That's not what they're about. Okay, so like it or not, the way that we choose to dress and to present ourselves as women is a walking advertisement to everybody that we meet of who we are and what we're about. So, what do you think that this woman, woman A, is saying to herself, about herself, to the people and especially the men that she comes in contact with?
Look at me.
I am cheap. I am easy. I'm available on every street corner. I'm common. Okay, right? So, what about this woman? Woman B, what is she saying to herself? What is she advertising? What do you think people is going, in the minds of somebody that encounters her, as opposed to someone that is encountering her? Different advertisement? Could you see that it's possibly as different as McDonald's and Outback? So when they see her, are they possibly thinking, takes time, classy, upscale, elegant, not a drive-through window, a little bit of respect involved with this girl? Okay, so if you think about the way you're presenting yourself in society, and especially with the guys, what reaction is the first girl going to get from men? What reaction is the second girl going to get from men? What are they going to assume about them just by how they're presenting themselves? So, to be sure what men would think, we're going to ask them.
I think the first thing in my mind would be, did she honestly look at herself in the mirror before she walked out?
Seeking attention.
Bounce your eyes.
I'd probably just think that she really doesn't care what guys think about her. She just dresses however she likes, so she just can get attention.
Sex symbol. Sex symbol, yeah.
Well, I'd probably think that she was just kind of crazy and not really looking to, just do anything nice with her night.
Very outgoing.
Oh, God. That'd be the first thing that went through my mind. I think I'd wonder if, I don't know, man. I'd be worried about her.
That she's probably not, she doesn't, show herself as much, she didn't respect her body. Yeah.
She wants attention.
And she's trying to get attention.
Nah, not really at all.
Probably be a no.
Honestly, no.
No, not at all.
No.
Definitely not.
I probably would, just for the simple fact she's dressed like that, so I'm going ahead, that's what she wants, so.
Probably not.
No, probably not.
No, not at all.
Probably not, yeah.
I would ask her out to a party.
If I'm going to ask her out and she's over here dressed like this, she's obviously not just attracting one man. She's attracting every single man that she can.
Seems like she doesn't care whose attention she gets as long as it's attention, so that would be my main reason.
Well, you just kind of looking at her lifestyle, we're definitely not, I feel like we'd definitely not be yoked well. Our, maybe like our morals wouldn't be there. She's kind of very revealing to her body, and that's not what I'm looking for when it comes to a potential partner in life.
Just because she's dressed a little bit more provocative than I would choose.
Well, just very outgoing for my taste.
Like I said, the first thing we do is you look at the physical, but then you start realizing, wow, it's something different. It's not normal, I guess, in our times.
What makes it not normal?
The modesty of it. Modesty has been pushed out the window.
Well, she's beautiful, without a doubt. She has a beautiful smile. Altogether, she's dressed nicely. There's nothing provocative. She doesn't have to be provocative. Her smile and her whole face, her glow, draws me in.
Classy.
Well, man, this girl is modest, and, she's just very dazzling, very captivating. She seems like someone that I'd love to have a conversation with, get to know her personalities, her just kind of like her quirkiness, like saying if she's like that. But yeah, definitely drawn to just her mystery, like drawn to her modesty, and like what an awesome woman. I definitely want to know more than just her name,
Probably more of a classy kind of girl.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. Why? Carries herself well. That's some good woman right there. Well, hopefully, right? By the way she dresses. Sure. Carries herself well.
Probably that she takes care of her appearance a little bit more, that she cares about what people think about her, just because she is dressed a little bit more professionally, due to the fact that she's wearing something that covers up.
Classy.
She's a pretty woman, and she looks like she has respect for herself, so.
I feel like she's the type to date or take home to your mom. Okay. Yeah.
Definitely. If you find somebody that's modest nowadays, it's kind of a rare fact.
Probably. Yeah, I could see myself doing something like that. But if I was going to ask her, whether to, date her or to court her, no.
Considering circumstances, Taya. No, I wouldn't. But in regards for the purpose of this, Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yes.
I guess it's a little bit of both. Seems a little bit more intimidating because seems like she exudes a lot more confidence. So I guess I'd be on the line to ask her out.
I got you.
Yes.
I'd give it a shot.
Probably, yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I would.
I don't know what y'all thought about that. We're probably going to go into that in discussion. But something that I noticed is that several of the men, do I go with my hair? Several of the men said on the in Modest, on woman A, they said that basically she's saying, I'm for everybody. I'm not just for you. Like anyone out there can see me, look at me, grab me, touch me. I'm for everybody. And so therefore they didn't want to ask her out because they didn't feel that she would be exclusive to them. The other thing that I noticed that they all said, well, not all of them, but most of them said the main word was she wants attention. She's just trying to get attention. And so what I want you to realize from this video is, yes, half of those were Wesley guys from church, but half of them were man on the street video. So we don't know whether or not they're believers or if they're not believers. So even the ones that we're not sure if they're believers or not weren't that impressed. Now, basically, they know a woman like that's a dime a dozen, right? They can find one anywhere they want. So the two that said they would ask her out, did you notice their reason? Look at how she's dressed. It's obvious what she wants. Sure, I'd ask her out to a party. Yeah, she's advertising cheap, easy, fast, no effort. Sure, I'll take her to a party. But on the other hand, when you got to, the other picture of girl B, the one guy that said he didn't know if he would ask her out, all of them said they would, or I'd give it a shot, meaning, heck, I'd try, but man, she's so classy, I don't know if she'd say yes or not. The one guy that said he didn't know said, well, she carries herself well and she's very confident, and so in order to ask her out, I'd be kind of putting myself on the line there. I'd be risking some rejection because she is super classy. They said she was the kind of girl that they'd want to take home to mom, meaning they look at her in the long term instead of fast. So they're looking at her going, this girl takes time, this girl would be just for me. This girl's not out there to show herself to the world. She's confident in herself. And she doesn't have to show her body because she's smiling. She's exuding, exuding life just from her smile. She's drawing me in from her confidence. She doesn't have to show the goods because she's just drawing me in through who she is as a person. Now, the overall vote from both sets of guys was very clear. I was shocked, honestly. I didn't know what the man on the street would say. And when Roman brought back the footage, I was honestly shocked that across the board, secular Christian, Modest is hottest. It won, hands down, with the guys. They didn't know what we were making the movie for. They didn't know, oh, this is for church, so they weren't like trying to be on their best behavior. They just thought it was a social experiment. So these guys were not coached in anything to say. They were just all asked the same question. So what I want you to think about is that which is of the most value is always hidden, it's always covered, and it's always protected. Okay? And what I mean by that, I've got a quote, and this is what I mean by it being hidden and protected. My father then took a good look at us, and he sat me down in his lap, and he said something I will never forget. He looked me straight in the eyes, and he said, Hannah, everything that God made has value in the world. Everything that God made valuable in the world is covered and hard to get to. Where do you find diamonds? Deep down in the ground, covered and protected. Where do you find pearls? Deep down at the bottom of the ocean, covered up and protected in a beautiful shell. Where do you find gold? Way down and in the mine, covered over with layers and layers of rock. You've got to work hard to get them. He looked at me again with serious eyes and he said, "Your body is sacred. You're far more precious than diamonds and pearls, and you should be covered too." It's actually a quote by Muhammad Ali to his daughters. So I love that quote because I think it's incredibly true. What you have to offer a man, ladies, you should consider that of the very highest value. You're the pearl, you're the diamond, you're the gold. So I want to go to Matthew chapter 13. If you have your Bibles, you can turn there. If not, I am going to read it out loud. But I'm going to read Matthew 13, and I'm going to start in verse 44. It says, "The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure that a man discovered hidden in a field. In his excitement, he hid it again and sold everything he owned to get enough money to buy the field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant on the lookout for choice pearls. When he discovered a pearl of great value, he sold everything that he owned and he bought it. So the pearl of great price was hidden. He discovers it, and it's so valuable to him that he will give up everything for it. He will give his life for it. That is what we should want from the men. They should be willing to say, that's a pearl of great price, and I will give my life to obtain that. Proverbs 31:10 says, "A woman of noble character who can find? She is worth far more than rubies." Valuable. So ladies, men should be tripping over themselves to open the door for you, not making bets on who can score you first. Advertising. Advertising. What are you advertising to the guys? What are you presenting? What are you telling them about yourself? Okay, so I want you to pretend that it's Christmas. All right, do you prefer that your gifts be wrapped or just placed under the tree as is?
Wrapped.
Why?
Because it's exciting, like getting to figure out what's underneath, all that tissue paper and tape and paper.
Right, so if they sit there for a couple weeks all wrapped up, then you're like, ooh, what is it? What's under there? I can't wait to get to it. And there's mystery, there's excitement, there's, you're just like, what is it? What's in the box? And it causes more excitement. Whereas if mom and dad just stuck it under the tree, oh, you got the new iPhone, and it's not wrapped, it's just in the box sitting under there. There's just not really any mystery in that, so you lose the excitement of it. Okay, so Danny, let's say it's your birthday, and Mr. Tank wants to buy you a gift. He's going to give you a birthday present. Which present would you rather have?
The one in the box.
Okay, but you can't tell what's in the box.
It looks prettier.
But you don't know what's in here. I mean, it could be anything. Like this one right here, you're sure. I mean, come on, that's you know what you're getting, right? So would anyone in here actually take this over this if it was presented to you? Okay, because there's some mystery here, right? Okay, so you know, you're sure that this is jewelry. I mean, this is a jewelry box. You know it's jewelry. Is it earrings? Is it a ring? Is it a necklace? Is it an anklet? What's in the box, right? There's that mystery. So part of the, I'm trying to think of the correct wording, but when people think of modesty, they have a wrong perception and they automatically think frumpy and dumpy and, you know, burkas and completely just like you're wearing a tent. Well, here's the thing. The same way that you know that there is jewelry in this box, a woman can dress very beautiful and you can tell that she's a woman. This is a woman. This is not a man. If I covered up her face, you would still know this is a woman, correct? How?
She has a figure.
Yes. Her waist is narrower than her breast and her hips.
It's definitely not something a guy would wear.
No. So you can, but nothing, she's not, you don't see her midriff, you don't see her cleavage, you don't see her cheeks hanging out, but you know it's a woman, right? So she's dressed very, very beautiful, very feminine. You know it's a woman in there, but there's mystery. It's like, what's inside the box? That is what is truly drawing to a man. And the difference between, like the guy said, girl A, they're like, well, we kind of know. I mean, we know what's inside the box. She's saying, I'm for everyone. But girl B, they're like, I don't know. I can tell she's really, really beautiful. But there's a lot of mystery. I'm not quite sure what's in that box, right? Okay. So, anyone in here curious as to what's in the box?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna have to wait to find out. We'll keep the mystery going. All right, so next week, this is gonna take 2 weeks. It could take many weeks. It's going to take 2. But what I want to look at next week is what Scripture says, because we can say modest, but everybody can have a different idea of what does modesty mean. You know, everyone can have their own definition of what it means to be modest. Different people groups can have a different definition. It really doesn't matter what my definition is. It doesn't matter what Ginger's definition is. It matters what Scripture says. And does God give a guideline for women and for modesty? And so that's what we're going to talk about next week. It's going to be pretty challenging, but right now I just want to have discussion on our advertising and our boxes and stuff like that. So